Good afternoon, brother.
Hey, what's going on, brother? I almost wanted to say good morning. It's our day version of our podcast. It's good to see you. How you doing?
Yeah, you too. Pretty good. How are you doing?
It's good, man. It's good. Very excited about today's show, especially, always love to have professional players in our podcast, especially after this weekend.
Yeah.
It's just been in my adrenaline all weekend long and through today.
Yeah. This is gonna sound terrible, but now I know how rock stars feel because there's something about performing at night that's just different than during the day. And I've got some sunlight coming in the window, and it just feels a little weird.
It does. It's a different feeling, man. But that's sometimes because of our guests. This is the way we got to do it, and it's perfect. It's perfect to change it up a little bit.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's a perfect brunch.
Hey, maybe I know we talked a little bit. We were texting back and forth over the weekend, but how was the ambiance out there with Canelo being in town?
It was good. I didn't go around there too much because I had a lot of things to do, but we could tell there was a lot of people in town. There's a lot of activity. I wish I at least driven by Texas Live just to check it out. But we could tell it was going to be big. And what was even funny is the next day, of course, was Mother's Day. So when we were going where we were going, I saw about 6 people that were right in the corner of Collins and 30. Where like TGI Fridays is and all that.
Yeah.
And they were sitting there with their luggage and probably waiting for Uber. But I said, "Oh, those people are just checked out of their hotel and waiting to go back wherever they came from."
Yeah,
but we could tell it was electric, and I couldn't watch. I didn't watch the fight, but you did, and I know it was a good expected result, right?
It was, and it was really amazing to see. I mean, only Jerry could pull off such an event, but he makes it seem so simple. Just everything going on, and it's a big show, man. A big show from beginning to end. Well, actually, the show started Thursday. Because they got when they arrived, they got the weigh-in and they got everything going on. But I just couldn't believe it was over 73,000, and just like I said, Jerry, if it's up to Jerry, he'll get it done. So I think it was great, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure he was on the camera a lot. So yeah, it was a success. It was successful. And speaking of boxing, I went to Golden Gloves last night. I don't know. It's probably been 30 years since I've been to Golden Gloves event. Yeah. It was pretty nice. My neighbor's nephew had a fight, and I just happened to be. We were eating dinner together, and he says, "Hey, you want to go? I'm about to go watch my nephew." And that's how that happened. It was completely last minute. So.
That's awesome. I think that any event, actually at any level, boxing. I mean, it's every sport's got its different skill, but I think with boxing, man, it's when you go watch it live, it's really you have a lot of fun. I've experienced it myself. I went to go watch Canelo in San Antonio, and it was quite the event. But just the match, it's crazy, man. You have a lot of fun. So,
I was gonna say, You see what game the NFL is going to open up with?
Absolutely, man. I saw it first thing this morning, and I couldn't be happier. There's mixed feelings out there. Everything from Tampa's going to blow out the Cowboys. I mean, we'll see once they get on the field and see what happens. I hate to say this, but I also don't know what's going to happen. We have new coaches on the defensive side. I don't know, how Dak's going to do. I mean, obviously, I'm a big Dak fan, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, the only thing I heard from the Bucs is that they have returned all 22 starters,
They have.
which has not ever happened in this not new, but in the free agency era. So of course they want to come back and try and win another one. So anyway, well, let's get it going because I know schedules are a little tight today. So with that, my name is Javier, and we are Problems.
And my name is Jorge, and Opportunities. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for being with us tonight. Very excited with our guest today. Today is a day show for us, and again, Problems and Opportunity originated from somebody a long time ago telling us that problems do not have to stay problems. You can use them as opportunities for every aspect of your life, whether personal or professional. My brother and I have absolutely embraced that message. and so much so that we've turned it into a podcast. Every week we come in here, whether it's just the two of us or we have a guest, but we try to focus to bring a message to everybody. I know I myself and my brother, we've all learned from all of our guests. For everybody has a story to tell, and it's always exciting to do these. So thank you everybody who's whether you're gonna watch it live or later on today. Thank you so much for joining in, and can't get wait to introduce our guest. Brother, who's our guest today?
We have an exciting guest today. Number one, he is again a proud pride and joy of our old where we grew up, the area where we grew up. He's actually the son of I guess we've already had Jessica, whose show we were just saying is probably
Fantastic show. I agree.
Right, one of the best ones, certainly one of the most viewed, if not the most viewed show that we had probably about a month ago. So this is her son, and we talked about him a little bit on that show. So this is how this became. But as you said, we're going to be speaking to someone who has been playing the game of football since he was 8 years old, and as he said, fell in love with the game from then, and has made not just like us, where we played a little bit in high school and things like that. He's actually made a professional career out of it. Some of the highlights from his bio, again, played since 8 years old, of course, through high school. Actually ended up switching positions, which we're going to ask if that was key to his success. Ended up with a 4-year scholarship to Lakeland University. From there, a couple of offers for NFL teams. Was invited to the NFLCombine, and currently plays for an arena team. So let's go ahead and give a warm welcome to Chris Bustamante. Chris, how you doing today, man?
Yeah, really good. And yourself?
Good. Thank you for again. I know it took a few tries to get a day and a time. You've got a pretty busy practice schedule, and it's kind of backward from everybody else, right? You take care of business more in the evening, and of course in the weekend for your games and things like that. You've got traveling going on, so we really appreciate you taking the time. Wednesday, right now to do it.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. It's good to be on.
Yeah. Chris, let's just, I gave some of the highlights of your background, but I didn't even say where you went to high school, and, take us back to that time where, to let people get to know who you are.
Yeah. All right. Well, like you said, I started playing ball when I was 8 years old. It was Little League. I don't know if the team's still around. It was with the Spartans over there on the east side of El Paso, because that's where I grew up. I was raised in El Paso, Texas. And then I went to middle school. Went to Horizon Middle, and then I eventually went to high school, which is Horizon High School. That's where I did years of high school. And like you said, I played quarterback my whole life. So since I was 8, I played quarterback, and then going into my senior year, I decided to make the switch to wide receiver. But I ended up graduating from Horizon High School. Then I got a scholarship from a couple different colleges. Decided to go to Lakeland University. Played my 4 years there, and then that's when all these opportunities started, coming up, and I just started making decisions from there. But yeah, I went to Horizon High School, and that's where I started my, career in being a receiver and what I am.
Why? So let me ask you real quick. Why did you make that decision to switch over? I mean, I kind of did that, of course, not to your level, but what made you change to the receiver position?
Well, so going into my senior year, I started thinking future term, long term, and I was like, I'm a short guy, man. If you look at any quarterbacks going into the league or playing college ball, you're not going to see quarterbacks my size. And don't get me wrong, I was really good at and I did it really well at a high level, and I just had to start thinking for myself and be like, hey, what I want to continue to do. So I remember going up to my coach and being like, hey, can I make that switch? We had a really good backup at the time as well. So I was like, hey, let's just try it out and see how it goes. Ended up working out. I moved to receiver, and I was always athletic. I had the quickness, I had the speed, the elusiveness, and the IQ for the game. So it kind of just translated really well. And being quarterback, helps with other positions because you got to know all the positions. So when I made that transition, I was really just thinking long-term college ball and, dream of playing pro. So, that's the main reason why I made the switch going into my senior year. And even I think that making that switch was the best move for me going forward.
Hey, Chris, let me backtrack here a little bit. When you started when you were 8 years old, that you embarked in this journey, I always like to ask professional athletes this question when they start at a very young age. Was that a personal choice, like you wanted to play, or was it like your parents pushing you to play? Tell us that story.
Okay, so before football and all that, I was playing soccer, I was playing basketball. I was really athletic. I did a bunch of sports, and then 8 years old is really when you start playing youth, tackle football, not flag and stuff like that. So I had a cousin that was older than me by like 4 years, playing ahead, and then I had my older brother, which is 2 years older than me. So one day my dad actually had to take my cousin to practice, and my brother, we were all together, and the coach ended up going to my brother saying, "Hey, do you want to play?" And my brother was really athletic as well and could play football, so he ended up starting playing for that team as well. I still hadn't started playing, and then I turned 8 years old. I was not eligible to play for 8 and 9 year olds, 10, 11, and I just remember going to the games, watching my brother play, and I was like, "Yo, like it looks fun. I want to play that."
Yeah.
I want to play. And my dad was all for it. My dad played football. He was athletic as well. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to try it out. The coach always was like, come on, get him out here, the head coach for that team. So I ended up starting playing. And once I started playing football, it's just a whole nother, different. You can't get the same feeling in any other sport. You know what I'm saying? It's a different type of feeling you get when you're playing football. So that's when I started playing. It was my decision. I wanted to play, but I would say my brother play first, and then seeing how much fun he had and all the hype he got when he did good stuff. I was like, okay, I could do that. Let me do that. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
So you decided on Lakeland University. Where is that? Tell us where that is and what that was like.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh,
yeah.
I said in Wisconsin, Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where it's located at. It's probably like 45 minutes away from Milwaukee and about an hour and a half to 2 hours from Chicago.
Okay.
And then 35 to 45 minutes from Green Bay. So I'm right in the middle of like three.
Oh my goodness!
I'm right in the middle of like three, cities that I could go to at any time. So that was a big part of my decision as well.
Yeah. Did you ever go to any Green Bay games? Green Bay Packers?
I went to two. I didn't go to the actual games. I went to the stadium just to check it out. I went twice.
Yeah.
Because those tickets are sold out. I mean,
right. Oh yeah.
You got a buddy, or you just gotta go get some low or something. But yeah, I never went to a Green Bay game. I just went to the stadium, checked out a couple. I went to Chicago, Green Bay, Milwaukee plenty of times, just going on weekends and stuff like that.
Yeah, they tell me they tell me you gotta inherit Green Bay tickets. Just like you gotta inherit Red Sox tickets.
Right.
Hey, Chris. I was gonna ask real quick. So, when you made your switch from quarterback to wide receiver, I mean, did that have some kind of impact on your scholarship or anything like that? I mean,
See, when I did that, I thought it was going to have a big impact, and I was like, dang, like maybe I should have made this switch earlier. You know what I'm saying? But it actually kind of helped because so when I played quarterback, I could throw and I was very mobile. So they were able to see, like scouts and stuff that saw my film were able to see, hey, he can move, he's shifty, he can run, So it's like now it's just left with, can he catch? Can he run routes? So I had that film on there, and it was a really good film from my quarterback, position. And then I have my slot receiver film. And that was really good as well. The scouts saw that I could catch and run routes and do my job at a high level. So when they looked at both of those films together, like, hey, he could do this and he could catch, so let's bring him out. You know what I'm saying? So it actually kind of helped, showing that he could do both things, and not just one position. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it would affect my scholarship offers and stuff like that going into it. Actually ended up turning out for the best.
That's great. Chris, I see you've got two giant rings on your hanging on your necklace, and I'm gonna put up a picture where it's gonna be a close up because you sent us a picture of that. Tell us about these two rings. that we've got up on the screen now.
All right, so obviously I made my commitment to Lakeland University, and we won our conference. We were conference champions 2 times in a row. So my freshman year we won it, my sophomore year we won it. So we get these rings. We went to playoffs. Played really great teams. But when you win your conference, you get the rings and stuff like that. So that's what the rings are for. We're conference championships.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, we had won it like 3 or 4 times in a row. And then my last 2 years, my junior and senior year, we didn't end up winning it. But, I still got 2 rings from my 4 years. So that's pretty good. Some people would never win it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. Yeah, and most people don't know that people think of a ring in just a big championship, Super Bowl or the World Series or whatever, but you actually get rings for other things. The Rangers have only gone as far as winning the pennant, the American League pennant twice, and all those people that were in those teams, they have a really nice ring. I got to see it. I've gotten to see it once or twice. Who was the biggest competitor? Like, which school would you say were your rivals, or where did you travel with Lakeland?
I would say the biggest school I think that we usually had during my 4 years. I would say probably Benedictine. I would say Benedictine was always a big rivalry. I'm trying to think. Maybe WLC. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 are the ones that come to mind straight off the bat. But like I said, my freshman and my sophomore year, we had a really stacked team and we were really good. So we were kind of playing in our own league right there at that time. You know what I'm saying? We were really good. And then my junior, senior year, Aurora was really good. So those were the 3 colleges that I would say were our biggest competition going into our conference and stuff.
Yeah.
Chris, what is your experience like playing college ball? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was really cool. It was different. It was really different because I'm a city person, right? So I like being around a lot of people. I like the building. I like having a lot of stuff going on. So when I made my decision to go to Lakeland, it's in a smaller place. It's more rural area, not buildings, not city. So you go 10-15 minutes and hit a city and stuff like that, and that's cool. But it's different when you're living there because I'm living in the dorms and stuff. So that was a big transition. Just getting used to not being around so many people all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Over and over again. So it was cool. It was different. I feel like it helped me out. Just get perspectives on things. But it was fun. I met good people. Some people I still talk to. Some guys that are still in college. So I still watch the games. I look at them play, and I keep up with what they're doing and stuff like that. But it helped me grow up as a person, as a man, become more independent for sure. Just get better. And my jump between high school to college, talent wise, was tremendous. Like there was so much stuff I to like when it comes to the game that I didn't know.
Yeah. I can. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, and just going from Socorro Horizon, that area, to I didn't even know where Wisconsin was in high school, much less having to move there. And I left El Paso, right out of high school, but I stayed in Texas. Far away, but still in Texas. So to think of, we had a couple of classmates that went to Notre Dame, and that was kind of crazy. I mean, it was Indiana or whatever it was, but I've been to that area where you were. I did some training with one of the companies I'm with. I was there for a week, so I was real close to that Chicago border. Actually have a Socorro friend that lives in that area, so kind of saw it, just really quick one day. So that's a really good, that's a big change, like you say.
Yeah, big time.
Hey, Chris, do you have a favorite place you visited as a college player that it's just in the back of your memory every day?
The best place so far that I've gone is Florida. I mean, Miami, Florida, Fort Lauderdale area. That's still to this day has been like, hey, I would go back for sure, like anytime. It was cool. Like, weather's like perfect. I love that type of weather. The people were really cool. Fun time, and yeah, like I like the beach, I like the sand. You get a train on the sand and stuff like that. So that's for sure someplace I would go back to. That's
awesome. Yeah, I've been out there, and I agree with you. It's one of the best places to visit. Yeah. Chris, so tell us a little bit about your degree. As a college ball player, what did you focus on?
So going in, I kind of already knew what I was going to do. I wanted to be around sports. I didn't want to be no doctor. nothing like that. I want to do something I enjoy doing. After college or after I'm done with football. So I went in for sports management. That's what I ended up getting my degree in. So with that, it's basically personal training, coaching, owning a team. Broad. You could do a bunch of stuff with that degree. I knew, I wanted to do something around sports. So that's what I decided to take up during my whole 4 years. Eventually got my degree in sports management.
So one thing I've always wanted to ask someone is about the combine. So you have this great career at Lakeland. You win some championships there. You've got some rings. You've got some, you've got a great time. So walk us through the combine. I mean, that's got to be a real exciting time. Do you you get a phone call from the NFL? Do you go over there and stay for? Tell us what that's like.
Yeah. Okay. So first, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if you're gonna get invited. You don't know that. You don't know nothing, right? You just have people who look at you and are watching you and stuff like that. So one day I woke up, checked my email, and I had an email, and they were like, "Hey, this is for you only. Do not share this with anybody. You know how to open it." Anytime you get one of those emails, you're like, "Okay." So, so you opened it up. I opened it up, and it was like, "Hey, you've been invited to the 2020 Combine in Indianapolis." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool, right?" So,
wow.
Yeah. So I was like, "Hey, that's cool." So from there on, it's like pure training. You have about 2.5 months to train strictly for the 40, L drill, shuttle, bench press, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Just trying to show the scouts that you're able to play at a high level. So from there on, I was just training. A lot of my training was at the school. So I was training. Finally came to that time. So I'm close. So the good thing that I had is Wisconsin really close to Indiana. I think it's about 54 hours, something like that. So it was perfect for me, right? So I just went there, got touched down in Indianapolis. Once I got there, amazing how they treat you. Like, it's crazy. Like, you go from living in your dorm room, eating cafeteria food, whatever, to getting treated like royalty. So
wow.
Yeah. Like, so we get there, we get to the hotel. It's like 2-3 story hotel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nice. The rooms are nice. You see all the the athletes are there. For the combine.
Sure.
So we're all getting our rooms. We're getting our room keys, stuff like that. They feed us buffet.
Yeah, first class.
Yeah, first class. We get buffets. We got interviews. We got media. Then our prep, recovery, like everything that we need. It's there. You know what I'm saying? So we're there at the hotel for about 2 to 3 days. For the combine, because it goes in different days. You have your bench press certain days and stuff like that, right? So we stayed there the first night. We ate. We had a team meal. They bring in some guys to talk. NFL players, scouts, CFL scouts that were there as well. So we have all these scouts already there at the hotel. We talked to them for a little bit. And then the next day, okay, we got our 40s and stuff like that, right?
Right.
So next day, you go to sleep. The day before that, you go to sleep really early so that you're able to prepare and perform well. And you get ready for your 40s. They weigh you, wingspan, like everything. They look at everything, like everything. They want to know exactly what you look like, how much you look, right? So strip you down, man. They look at everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get there, I run my 40. We did our bench press, all the stuff the combine entails, and it's a weird environment because you got all the lasers set up, you got the camera set up, and it's really just you. Everyone's looking at you. All the athletes are looking at you, right? So you run, and it's kind of, you got to be able to perform under pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone's looking at you.
Yep.
And you get one chance to show what you got. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get 2 runs on the 40. And you got to make the best out of it, right? You get 1 bench press, 1 vertical jump, or 2 vertical jumps, my bad. So it's two of each, but it's crazy. It's a really fun thing. You meet players from, Memphis, all over the, country that are
right.
You look up to them like, hey, this guy could ball, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I'm like, so that was really cool. It was a really cool experience. After the combine, I had talked to many scouts. I talked to some CFL scouts, some NFL teams, and you get your film. So you get your whole pro day film together. You get your numbers, and they start sending that out. The scouts have that in the mind. They get your draft day number. You know what I'm saying? So it was a really cool experience. I mean, you get treated like royalty, and you're there performing with some of the best athletes in the country.
And that was in 2020.
That was in last year, yeah, 2020.
So right in the middle of the COVID and all that.
Right, it was right before COVID hit.
Wow. So that was sometime March or February or something.
Well, February, right?
February.
Yeah, it should have been around March, something like that, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't remember. I don't remember exactly who all was. I'm sure there was a lot of great names in that draft class, or a lot of people you met. So then from there, you go back. I guess you go back to school. So what happens after that? I know you said in your bio that a couple of teams called you, a couple of NFL teams call you, right?
Combine. After the combine happened, you go back to school. You know, and you kind of you're still training. You know what I'm saying? You're still training, doing what you do, and then eventually, you wait to the draft. You know what I'm saying? Draft day, you want to come. Numbers going to get called, because before that I had played in the Orange Bowl, so you have a bunch of scouts there, so it tells everything. You have scouts looking at you from months, right? You have they saw you playing a game against actual people, against the best in the country, and then you have the combine. So I have all these scouts looking at you, and they're like, hey, are we gonna take a chance on this? So once you get back from the combine, you stay in shape, you stay training, you kind of get your weight back. You're not doing combine training anymore. You're getting ready for football shit.
Right.
And, come draft day, you're just glued to that screen, right? Have your phone, because they get a call at any time. So I remember being watching the combine or the draft, and I knew I was gonna go early rounds. I wasn't going straight out of a D1 school, so I knew I was gonna go early rounds, but I still wanted to see who was gonna pick up.
Sure.
So I had Steven Montes was in the draft as well, so I was gonna get picked up as well. I trained with him. So I was just watching, and then come around the 4th, 5th, 6th rounds, you're like, okay, here we go, right? So towards the end, I didn't end up getting a call, and then right after, I ended up getting a call after the draft was done. I ended up getting a call from a bunch of overseas teams. I was talking to the Browns and the Raiders, Florida. So I was talking to them since Florida, and I was trying to see what opportunities were coming up, right? So I had contracts, and then I actually had signed overseas, and then, like I said, it was right when COVID hit, so all the borders crashed. You couldn't. So I ended up getting a call from my coach from over there, and he was like, "Hey man, we can't bring you out because we can't get you here." You know what I'm saying? So all right, that's cool. And then right after that, I got invited to the spring league. So it was like a blessing in disguise, because if I would have had this opportunity before signing overseas, I would have took this one, right? So I ended up getting this opportunity, and I was like, "Yo, I got to take this." So basically, the spring league is you get all these guys from all over the country who played from the top level schools. You know what I'm saying? Johnny Manziel played in the league. Sean Oakman, they're all big. Go to this league. You have pure NFL scouts, CFL scouts going, and you play in the games, right? So you playing this job, you're just being looked at from head to toe against other competition. So that was in Denver, Colorado. That's the one I went to. I went to Denver. And I performed really well. I actually ended up scoring in the game. And that's where I started getting a lot of exposure and talking to a bunch of teams, right? Because that's where I had a lot of guys looking at getting my film together. So I performing really well in the spring league. And I ended up going to the RPFL for a little bit. COVID messed that up. Like I said, it's a horrible time. Right? Because right now it's either basically arena or NFL. Right? So I'm still talking to a bunch of teams. Opportunity came. I went back home, so I started. And then I got a call from a coach here in San Antonio for the professional arena team here. He was like, "Hey man, I got an opportunity for you. These guys have already been practicing or in camp for probably 2.5 months before I even got this call." So he's like, "Hey man, come out here. In our last 2 days of training camp, if you make the team, you make the team. If not, you're gonna go back home." You know what I'm saying? So I was like, San Antonio's 7 hours away from our house.
Sure, something like that.
I packed my stuff. I had some family here in San Antonio, so I stayed here. and then I went to the training camp. So in training camp, I balled out, man. I you know what I'm saying? I had 2 days basically to show the coaches there what I had and what I could do. You know, I'm a shifty player. They needed a running back at the time too, and I'm a wide receiver. Okay, so you know, but I played running back as well in college,
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of different ways. So I knew what I was capable of doing. And so I got there. They threw me at wide receiver, balled out there. Next day comes around, they're like, "Hey, we want to see what you backfield," because I knew they needed a running back. So all
Mm-hmm.
right, come on, let's do it. So I went to the backfield, balled out for the second day, and then basically in a couple of days, I was like, "Hey, coach, what's the word? Am I gonna get cut? Do I go back home?" Back up. So he ends up texting me, like, "Nah, we're not cutting you. We're keeping you." I was like, "All right,
Oh.
I can settle in and get ready." Right. So I settled in, brought all my stuff, got ready because I knew I was gonna be here for the season. So then after we had a week off, we come back and now we're straight practices right now, official practices. We're
Mm-hmm.
and now we're here. We're going into week 9 and we're leading our division. We're number 1 right now. We're 5-1. You know,
Wow.
so it's going good. You know what I'm saying? I have highlights set up and I've done really good. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season to see what, you know, comes ahead as far as opportunities. I'm talking to CFL teams. And, you know, like I said, we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah, I'm gonna show. I was gonna try and do a slideshow, but so I don't mess it up myself. I'm just gonna show some pictures on here, some really good shots, action shots during games, in your gunslinger's uniform. And I know your mom. She told us it was either before or after she was gonna go watch you play. I don't remember which game that was.
I believe she
Um,
did that game. I believe she did.
yeah. So this one is another one. Is your white uniform the home uniform or is it backwards?
Actually, that's our way, but for some reason we're like, hey, let's go white. So,
Yeah.
so we
Well,
talk to other teams, and that's from college.
that's from college.
Yep,
The way and is this
that's from the Orange Bowl from
from the
the.
Orange Bowl?
Oh
Okay.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Um, the way I understand it is the home team really gets to decide whatever the heck they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You know, the Dallas Cowboys they wear one specific uniform for Thanksgiving game, and then
yeah,
you know, whatever. So,
yeah.
man, that's pretty awesome. That I haven't been to an arena game in a while. And actually, Arlington, where I live, we had an XFL team last year,
Yeah,
which ended up going. You know, they shut it down because they opened it just in enough time to have a world pandemic,
yeah,
and they were using the old Ranger Stadium, which is a great place to play football. The high schools actually now you know, use it. But tell us a little bit about life as a pro with the Renegades. Like, what is your training schedule? You know, what days of the week do you play, or tell us about that?
So the way they set up our schedule this year is we played our first couple games were on Saturday. Okay, so
Hmm.
first couple games were on Saturday, and then for the remainder after those first 2-3 games, we played on Mondays. So it was Monday night. So we played
Okay.
football, and it's different, man. It's like I said, arena's a different game, but it's fast paced, it's quick. You got to be able to move or react, or you can get hit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's fun. The fans it's really cool because the fans are right next to you. Like you got to be
Oh
able.
yeah.
Like if you're on the way, you're not home. Like you got to be able to have thick skin because like you're getting called all kinds of stuff. You know.
Yeah.
They have the fans. It's packed. They're right there on the wall. If a ball could hit them or a player could hit them, like it's crazy, but it's fun. It's more fan interaction, right? So, you know, we come out here, we sign autographs for the people, and you know, it's a really cool gig. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's a different type of football for sure. And
Yeah.
but like I said, it's fun. It's a cool thing to be here and represent the city of San Antonio right now.
Hey Chris, and it's interesting how you were telling your story like before the combine and actually all the way up to the combine, right? Like you told us about high school and college and your history there, and then your experience with combine, and then it kind of felt like just listening to your story. It kind of felt like after combine, it was like just everything happened really fast for you.
Mhm.
Is that kind of how you feel?
Nothing was guaranteed. Like nothing. Like when COVID hit, you're kind of like, well, I had this opportunity, but are they gonna fold? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
this is open, but is COVID gonna mess that up? You know,
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, right now, not just football, but being an athlete right now is probably the worst time because of COVID restrictions, and you got it's nothing's guaranteed or for sure because anything could happen at any moment. So it's like, okay, I've done all this work for 4 years. I got my film together and all the work, and it's like, well, is COVID gonna mess that up?
Yeah.
You get less NFL opportunities because now instead of scouts are bringing in 1 or 2 guys instead of like 8. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
so
Yeah.
it's a trickle down effect for sure.
Yeah. Plus you have, other players coming in, and I understand what you're saying. I've been scrolling your YouTube channel. Your mom has the one that had told me about it.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great channel. Number one, you've got over 20,000 subscribers. That's pretty awesome. And then just scrolling through a lot of your episodes. I mean, most of them have, 3, 4, 500 or thousands of views.
Yeah.
When did you start your channel?
So I started in college. I wish I would have done earlier. I wish I would have started that in high school. You know, but I didn't know about it. You know what I'm saying? So
sure.
Going into college, I was like, hey, I'm gonna start this. I remember doing it going into my senior year, I believe. Yeah, going into my senior year, I started my YouTube channel. I just wanted to, show my story and what it is, life of a college player, NFL. You don't know what's gonna happen, so you just keep people, you gain your audience, your fan base, and
it's like a journal. Yeah,
I have family all over the country, so I was like, what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So it was really cool. That's when I decided to do it, and I learned a lot. I learned how to edit. It's really cool. It's a really cool gig to have and do.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the reason we do this live is because we haven't really gotten into the editing part of podcasting. Most podcasters distribute it through other things, iTunes, and there's other Spotify, whatever. We decided to go live for a reason, but we're still not into that editing phase of it. But I see a lot of little tricks. Like I saw a couple of your videos and a couple of little tricks that we need to learn as well. That are pretty cool. And you have a couple of episodes with your mom, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Again, she was great on our show. Of course, it was a difficult subject, and I'm sure it was 10 times as difficult for you all. Still is, it's an ongoing situation. But she was so great. She made us all feel better, and she was, she's the one talking about everything she's going through. You guys had a when she had the book published, you had kind of a drive-by, didn't you? Back home in Socorro,
right.
Horizon.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember you were there. Were you giving autographs, or were you kind of helping her with the book?
As the news came out, they got a hold of it. So yeah, it was a whole bunch of just people, fans or people that just support me coming out. Obviously COVID, so they were in their cars and stuff.
Yeah.
So I drive by, and they brought their footballs or whatever they wanted me to sign. So I went ahead and signed their stuff, and took pictures with them and stuff right before I left. Headed off from El Paso.
Hey, Chris, you spoke a little bit about how COVID impacted, all of us and athletes, professionals. I mean, just in general, every industry, right? Excuse me. At the beginning of this show, my brother and I were talking about Saturday and Canelo's fight, and that was the first time 73,000 people gathered around to watch a sporting event. I'm thinking if Jerry would have opened it up to 100,000 would have showed up. People were just hungry to get something like that. So, man, I bet it was tough for you because there was a lot of unknowns, and with you having your goals and your vision set in a certain direction, and then COVID hits, sometimes it's difficult to, man, what's going to happen? Leagues canceling, seasons canceling, maybe, am I going to even get a chance to continue my, with my profession and things like that? It must have been difficult.
Yeah, it was a rough time, and still, like I said, it's still ongoing, but it's not as bad. But it's never knew what was gonna happen. You could be somewhere and then be like, hey, and then all of a sudden you get the team telling you, hey, we can't do this no more.
Right.
COVID, and then we have to go back home and head back to training.
Yeah.
It never felt settled in. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So that was the worst part of it. Opportunities were cut off, because of COVID. Like playing overseas, CFL. You know what I'm saying? So you were left with 2 options. You were either NFL or that was it at that time. NFL was the only one that went ahead at that time and said, hey, we're still playing. So I mean, you can't have all of college. You know, I mean, go play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
That's
big trickle down effect for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a side note, so I know my brother mentioned that at the combine, he couldn't remember any big names, but I believe that was a combine with for obvious reasons. I know this, but it was CeeDee Lamb, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep.
Did you get to meet CeeDee Lamb?
Oh, so I wish I did, but no, I didn't get to meet him. So they had like the big D1 guys guaranteed. You know, the guys
Yeah.
that were
Yeah.
go. They had them like private. It was weird.
Yeah.
And,
I bet.
we got treated like royalty. They were kings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were like private. They kind of kept to themselves because they have their own training well with them and
Yeah.
stuff. And so
Security.
yeah, exactly. So they were kind of put away from us. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately,
at the old Cowboy Stadium, Texas Stadium, it was a true, I don't know if you ever went there, but it was a true football bowl, just a big round bowl, and there was a ramp on one side of it that went under the bowl, and then they had this parking lot that was set aside for the players. Well, if you were, Troy Aikman and the playmaker and guys like that, you got to take your car in the ramp and park inside under the stadium. And that's where, if we got there early enough, that's where you could see some of these guys coming in. But everybody else was just out in the parking lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you played special teams, you're going to walk from the parking lot to the game. Chris, so, I mean, this has been an absolutely great show. I always love to hear stories like yours. Thank you so much for sharing. For the sake of time, we always love to end the show by our guests crystallizing one main point or two for our viewers to hear out of our conversation. So what would you like to leave our viewership behind? How would you like to crystallize your show?
Should you say like to end the show?
Yes. What one or two things would you like to leave behind?
What opportunities did you find from problems?
I just enjoy. Obviously, the show is really great. I enjoy, coming on and talking to you guys about, my life and, getting to show people, what I've been through and stuff like that. If I could just say, something to like, people watching or whoever's going to watch this later on, it's like, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, it sounds like, oh, this way, this happened this way. And no, like none of this happened just by sitting down and pure talent. Like everything I've done or have overcome has been because I've had a strong mindset. I put the work. You gotta have a grind. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be willing to overcome stuff. There was times where I thought, I was done. I was in. So I would just say keep pushing. Believe in yourself at all costs, and no matter what anyone says, no one's gonna pursue your dream or love your dream the way you do. So you gotta keep doing what you do, and as long as you're doing what makes you happy, you're gonna be just fine, and big will come as long as you put the work in.
Hey Chris, I know you really didn't mention this, but at any point, whether it was in college or now in professional, football, were you ever scared, ever afraid of the unknown?
Like before games and stuff.
I mean, just in general, before games or before, like if you even knew you were going to play somewhere and stuff like that.
I mean, nerves kick in for sure. I would still say before every game I get nervous, but it's good nerves. You know what I'm saying? I mean. I've been playing this game for 15 years, and every game you still get those jitters and those nerves before a game. Scared, I would probably say the scariest I've ever been was I was in the Little League. You know what I'm saying? I was in the Little League. I didn't know what I was doing. I remember the first couple of games, I was like, dang, I could get knocked out over here. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because I was a little kid, so I didn't know, but I never played before. So I mean, then I was scared, kind of, but then you realize what you're capable of doing, and, confidence kicks in. So after that, you just know you're so much higher than these other kids, and the work you put in. So that scared factor doesn't come in, but the nerves will always be there. I feel like if you're not nervous before a game, you're not ready. That's just the way, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, scared after about middle school, Little League. Nah, I mean, you get used to the games and stuff like that.
Well, I think the nerves is pretty natural, like you mentioned, and if you're not feeling any nerves, it's probably something wrong with your excitement. I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, if you don't have nerves, you probably know you're not playing in the game or something.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, you talk to anybody who's great at what they do, whether it's a sport or especially people that speak or even actors and musicians.
Music, yeah.
None of them are like, oh, I got this. There's, if they're not feeling those jitters, if they're not feeling the nerves, even after 20, 30 years of doing it, then they're, like you say, they're not ready, or they've lost really the love for what they do, man. So that's always a good sign. And then you get in that first hit or that first sprint, and it's all right, and then everything else falls in place.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Chris, again, thank you so much. It was so great to learn about your story, and I think it was a excellent way to crystallize at the end. I also want to just take this opportunity to thank our audience. This early. Thank you for joining. As always, you guys are also our guest and hearing what we've got to say. But it was great. It was great having you, Chris, and being in the show.
Yeah. Thanks, man, and I'm glad your mom connected us, and certainly, again, her episode was great, and yours was too. I'm glad we connected this way. So thank you all for watching, or who will watch. And so with that, we'll end it with, for my brother, this is Problems.
And for my brother, and Opportunities. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks
Hope
again.
everybody has a great one.